everybody. I'm sorry I rescheduled the sphere thing for Sunday, next Sunday, because I realized that in the process of getting things ready, I had forgotten a um, step. Yeah, might have been me, Beth, because when I rescheduled it on Sunday, remember, I was kind of foggy because of not enough sleep, and I first scheduled it for 10:30 in the morning. Normally at 10:30 in the morning I have the lives with the sponsors, so maybe that was a reason, and then I went back and I scheduled it for 4:30. But anyway, I rescheduled that for Sunday because in order to create a sphere out of polymer clay, there are several steps, and I'll show you how to make one using a Christmas ornament. And it's very important. It's going to be a hollow sphere, so you won't be using a whole bunch of clay. It will not be thick. And by the way, talking about that, if you ever want to make something that is very thick, like if you would want to make a sphere made fully of polymer clay, you have about more than 95% chance that it will crack after baking it. Let me say hi. Hi, Misa. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Beth. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Matnat. Hi, Ramona. So one of the things that you can do if you want to make a polymer clay sphere, you can always buy the wooden spheres and cover them with clay, but that can get expensive. And you know, I usually like to show you how to do some stuff without having to spend a whole bunch of money. And in this whole how to make a sphere, it's also the tutorial on how to make it just with polymer clay hollow without having any baking blank left inside. So it has like 3 different steps, and I forgot to make one, so I'll have it all ready for Sunday. But because I was talking to a friend earlier, and we were talking about the cane, and this is what brought me to this idea on showing you how to make cane out of clay leftovers. And I'm not talking necessarily about scrap clay, because of course you can use scrap clay. Remember, I showed you that whenever I have leftovers, I kind of mix them together by colors, so that way I get some pink, some greenish, some oliveish, some stuff. But no, what I'm talking about is when you have, like, if I did a project and I had this wisteria clay and all I have left of it is this, and I might not use wisteria in another project for months, and it would be kind of stupid to store just this. So what I want to show you is how you can make a cane without skinner blendish, without any kind of stuff like that, using just bits and pieces of scrap that you have left over from other things. Okay, so I have here some wisteria. I have some, I think this is fuchsia. I think, I'm not entirely sure. Let me check, because remember, there are so many colors for all the brands of clay that sometimes I do forget what's the name of one color or the other for a certain Primo Pearl. Okay, all Primo. For a certain brand, because different brands have different names for different colors. So this is, I think it's fuchsia. Doesn't really look like fuchsia on the screen, but I think that this is what it is, fuchsia. So, getting back to it. Hi Kalyana. So, what I'm going to do first is to make my pieces pretty much into a bead. To start with, and you have to press. Remember, when you make any kind of bead to start something, you need to press until you do not see any more folding lines. Like here I have a folding line, so I'm going to press it between the hollow of my palms real hard until I cannot see a folding line anymore. There's still a little bit of one, and there we go. Same goes for this one. So I'm going to not putting my hands under the camera because it's a little bit harder to press on my palms in that position. I'm not going to get all of it, I'm going to get just some of the white. And I'm going to make a little ball, bead, however you want to name it. And just, you know, for the sake of it, I'm going to add, even if it's not a leftover, I'm going to add a little bit of alizarin crimson. And all you have to do is to not mix together colors that wouldn't go together. So, like, don't, okay, this one actually needs a couple goings through the pasta machine because it's kind of hard. Just don't put together, you know, like green and red, or there are colors that don't go well together. Okay, now let's make this one into a bead as well. And generally speaking, if you get a little bit of yellow, sorry, even if you have a little bit of contamination on any of your clays, remember that once you reduce the cane, that thing will be probably noticeable with a magnifying glass. So don't sweat too much over it. I still need to clean my full fuchsia hands. And just to underline some stuff, I'm going to use some black, and this doesn't have to be scrap. It is on a 3 thickness. My next move is to make these into cylinders. Hi Peta, Diane, Young. How do you like to be addressed as, Diane? Yes, I know. You didn't miss most of it, I just started. So you didn't miss most of it at all. We are making a cane out of all kinds of clay scraps, bits and remnants. And what you want to make sure is that your cylinders are about the same length. That's all that is to it. So even if they are not the same thickness, they need to be the same length. Just a little bit more. That's pretty much okay. And the white. Yeah, I know I have a little bit of a contamination on the white, but as I said, it's fine. Everything will be okay. It will not be the end of the world. and the alizarin crimson. There we go. And the next thing that I'm going to do is some strings. And I'm going to make that with black and with white. I'm trying to make sure that I have the same size of bead for both. Of course, if it's hard for you to make, hi Linda, if it's hard for you to make the strings by hand, you can always use the extruder. But I've shown you many times before how to make strings by hand using a small acrylic block. So first you start your whole string like this. And then you hold on here and start going down. And as you can see, the string comes out nice and even. And I need to make it a little bit thinner than this. And flip over. And we have one string, and let's do the black. Hi Nietzsche, did you get your order in? Remember, Nietzsche won the giveaway. I hope you enjoyed it. Alrighty, so if I wrap each of my cylinders in black, it's going to have a little bit of a look of stained glass. That is for sure. If not, it might give it a look of, it will also be fairly whimsical, but it will make it geometrical flourish. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. So I'm going to actually cut some. So I'm going to cut this and this because they seem to be fairly even. And it's not perfectly even, but I'm going to just bring this over. Oops. And we got this. And I can do this again. Just bring the white a little bit over. And there we go. Now, let me grab a little bit of thinner black. So this is on a 7, right? And I'm going to wrap, not fully, but kind of like halfy, if that's a word. So I have this. And then I'm going to make a little bit of look at this. I'm going to, of course, use my fingernails. Goes faster. Of course, you can use your X-Acto knife, but it's, for me, it's much easier to use my fingernails. And this you can do with any of the colors that you're using. It doesn't have to be necessarily white, but an addition of black is always desirable to get more oomph, more underlining of the pattern, right? So I have this, and I'm going to give it another wrap just on the exact same, over the little there we go. So now I have this. Pretty, huh? And this one, I think I want to squish it. So I am going to squish it by making, see, I'm going with one side is going to be over the other one, and I'm going to squish it with the smaller one inside. And there we go. And I want it a little bit. And I can go over like this. And then let's make this one more in a teardrop shape. It's just whimsical shapes, that's why I call it whimsical. Pita, yeah. Okay, so, and let me turn it this way so it would fold better. Lift this a bit, place this here. And there we go. And let's cut this in half. Make this a triangle, not allowing it to go too fat. Place the triangle here, and let's give it a little bit of black here, and what's left of the string, let's start with the black because it's white here. Woohoo. And the last white, and let's cover it again with black. Let me get this through the machine thinner. So let's cover this other area of, this is too wide, hold on. this new area of let's do this. And I still have one little white thingy, so where's my toothpicks? Oh, come on, get out. And there we go. One toothpick to order, and I want to put it here. And there we go. And the other piece. So now we have a blob, right? And we are going to triangularize the blob. I think it needs one more bit of color here, so let me see. This I'm looking for a round thing that I can use as deforming. This would go good. So I want another thing here. So let me see if I have any more white. I don't have white. I have a little bit of pearl here. I'm gonna put this one there. You can open a store, huh? But yeah, I'm not in the mica, but in the clay probably. I'm in the same. And cover it up. And there we go. Very whimsical, very fast, very easy. So I'm going to triangularize it. And you saw I did absolutely no Skinner blend. Just simply yeah, this one is not, it's probably smaller than, let me see, that's 10, that's pretty much 10 by 15, but I have a closet, so some stuff can go in the closet, and then I also have some stuff in the kitchen, so yeah, I'm more spread than just the 10 by 15 room. And then I have all the shipping stuff behind the door in the living room, so yeah, I'm quite spread. Let me cut the extras. And this is how it looks. I know you're gonna say that all the oomph is given by those little springs. Oh, come on, you don't have enough? That's too much. So yeah, you have to be always very careful how you store your clay, because if it gets too warm, it's going to half bake. So that you have to always keep in mind. Where's my... I know I had my ruler here. There it is. So let's make this in half. It's 3 inches. So this is the basic, right? Now let's see, how do I want to put it together like this? like this. Yeah, I think I like it like this the best. And I want to make it into a triangle with this being the base. So gently pushing down. There we go. I do have to share space with the kitties, who can be a pain. I mean, I swear, my actual stuff doesn't take a lot of room in the house. It's mostly my clay stuff and my kitty stuff. So, but again, this is a style. You don't have to make it exactly like this. I'm just showing you how you can use all those little bits and pieces of clay that you might have left over. So I don't know, you want me to do it a hexagonal or a square? Let's vote. Who wants hexagonal, type in the live chat. Who wants a square, type in the live chat. And this is a democracy. Because depending on how you want it, I have to shape the triangle differently, either equilateral or right angle. And you need to decide fast, because I keep reducing. Matnuts, you're supposed to vote. Okay, so we have more hex than square. Sorry, Colleen. So I'm going to go with the equilateral triangle, and I need to make it long enough to cut it in 6, right? So this long. Now you see why I said that if you wrap, you can actually just wrap those cylinders in black and smoosh them together and then create a triangle, and it's going to look like a stained glass. You know how you have in the Catholic cathedrals the rosette above the door? It's going to look like that. And if you want to make it even more interesting, you can add some white to each of your little pieces of clay left to make them more pastel-like, and then it's going to be even more delicate and make the black wrapping even thinner than what I did here. Not very thin now, because it's going to get lost if you make it very thin. Okay, a little bit more. Oops. Yes, I usually let my ends go to waste because I don't want to have. There we go. So I'm looking with one eye. But yeah, that's the whole idea, how to put the colors together. And if you don't have enough scrap, you can of course include some new clay, but as you can see, you don't need a lot. The cane doesn't have to be super big. You can make small canes to cover beads, or to make a small pair of earrings, or whatever you decide to make with them. Okay, now I'm going to get them 3 by 3. So you saw, they were just blobs practically, right? And even if you just leave it just blobs without putting all that little string thing, it will still make a beautiful effect no matter what. So always when you put them together on one side and flip it over, and make sure that the other side is well together. So again, put it together on one side, flip it over, and now you see that I have a little bit of a sorry, it's first day of warmth, so I'm starting to feel I left the windows and the glass door open. I mean, pull down the glass, and I'm starting feeling okay. So to get rid of this, I'm going to start, and I position my fingers in the middle pretty much, and not my finger because I have the fingernail, so I'm gonna put my knuckle, press, go upwards, go downwards. Same thing here. Press, go upwards, go downwards. Press, go upwards, go downwards. Verify, and it. Now, how to reduce the hexagonal. This is going to go away now. Place middle finger and thumb, and you can place your forefinger, but remember I kind of don't use my forefingers because I have nerve damage. But here I use my forefinger, so you have to have 4 out of the 6 facets covered. Press, turn over 1 facet. Press, turn over 1 facet. Press, turn over 1 facet. And now we are getting there. Now, why I don't round it? I prefer to leave some of my canes in a hexagonal because they are much easier when you want to cover something, because you can just put together the hexagons and you actually may even get a new pattern, remember? So how to keep it a hexagon? You just flip over 1. It doesn't take too long to reduce it, and it depends how much you want to reduce it. Of course, if you absolutely want to, you can make it round. Hello. So I am alternating between finger thing and roller, because what I want to do is to make a piece small enough that I can cut it and show you the easy way to put it together. And at this point I can start twisting a little bit. This movement you see me doing is because I am moving, making sure that the very middle of the cane gets moved. Remember that polymer clay is a plastisol, kind of like ketchup. If it's not moved, it will not move. I mean, if there is a portion that does not get affected at all by the reduction, it's going to stay behind. Like usually it's the center. This is why you want, whenever you reduce a cane, you want to twist it a little bit, not twist it hard, you know, just give it a little bit of a, and then you can also pull a little, and at this point most of the reduction is going, if I want to go much smaller, most of the reduction will be by twisted and pulling, most of it. But of course you can just round it up and make round earrings. What I want to do is to make it small enough to show you how to cover something that's a larger surface. And let's make sure that it stays a nice hexagon. Of course, I have at the ends, there's quite a bit of wastage, but it's going to be just fine. All right, let's cut the ends. There we go. And there we go. And now, yep. And now I'm going to make this a base, all the wasted stuff, and get with it through the machine a few times, just not to mess up your eyes with the different colors. Okay, this should be enough, and I can make it even thinner than this. Let's go for a 5. Okay, and now I'm going to take my cane cutting and start cutting slices. Always when you cut a hexagonal cane, flip it one side more after each cut so that it doesn't start getting squished. And always the best thing is to let it rest for about half an hour to an hour, or you can put it in the fridge for like 10-15 minutes. Okay, this is not. I'm going to cut like, I don't know, maybe 8 or so that we can create a pattern, and you can see how that works. 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's start it. And because it is hexagonal, I can start using them. If you remember my tutorial on how to make little turtles using this kind of cane for the shell, This is exactly the same thing, and of course you can use this to make little turtles. I mean, this kind of canes, you can always use them to make those little turtle thingies. And you just create them together. I think I could have used just 6 of them, huh? And always after you do this, your next move will be the burnishing. And because they are cane slices, your best thing is place the wax paper, then get these out of the way, then grab your little acrylic block and first press down, because you don't want to distort the whole thing. Remove the paper again, press down, remove the paper, press down, and now you can see there's no more space left. Remember that you could see some white, and that was where the clay was not sticking to the paper. And now I can use my roller to do some rubbing to finish the burnishing thing. And thank you, Elaine. And there we go. We have a nice cover, and it's very well connected. The slices are very well connected, and you can insist more. I mean, I didn't insist too much on the burnishing, but you can insist to have a perfect burnished area. So just a little bit of playing with bits and scraps and leftover clays. So what I want to remind you, because it happened a few times, when you, again, if you, it is very much appreciated if you get the your shopping done either through my Amazon influencer store or through my affiliate link with PolyClay Play, because that allows me not only to purchase my supplies but also have giveaways. The thing is, with PolyClay Play, you have to remember when you order to go through my affiliate link, because otherwise it will not register. Trish is able, if you realize after you order, you can email Trish and tell her that you forgot to go in through my affiliate link, and then she will put my earnings in my account, because I don't get money, I only get store credit. I still can buy with store credit those gift certificates that I do the giveaways with. But if you forget about that, and if you don't call Trish will still, and I'm happy to help her make a sale, because again, this is a one-woman business. She's doing everything, and she's a wonderful lady. But if she doesn't know, then I will not get the credit, and I will not, that will make the time between the giveaways much longer, because I have to wait until I get enough to get. And again, it is much appreciated, everything that you're doing, and it helps me help others, because as I said, besides the giveaway, sometimes I do get gift certificate for clayers and artists that I notice on discussions on social media, on Facebook, on you name it, that they might go through a rough patch and they don't have money to buy supplies. So this is my way of giving back to the community that helped me whenever I needed help. So I hope you enjoyed this and you make yourself several canes. And don't forget to watch, actually let me just give you the link directly so you don't have to look for it. Okay, there we go. It is with brooches, but you can make them pendant. Let me give you the link. And that was very appreciated. But just to show you the end result, let me mute it because we don't want all the music. And there we go. This is how the little sea turtles look like as brooches, but you can also make them as pendants. And I used two different cutters, a round one and a soft triangle one. And I show you in this one how to do the cane for the heads and the legs and the tail as well. So maybe after we do the sphere, I will show you, because one thing that I noticed, there are a lot of tutorials about canes, how to make canes, how to reduce cane, how to cut canes, how to do all kinds. Yes, as long, and I'll talk in a second, I'll give you a few tips. But there are not a lot of tutorials on what to do with the cane once it's done. I mean, I know a lot of clayers, more beginners or intermediate or whatever, that they have boxes full of canes and they don't know what to make with them. So I think that maybe we should address a little bit that. Now, canes can be used the same as polymer clay as long as they've been stored properly. They can be used even after 10 years. But your secret is to not store them small, because they will need warming up. If you don't warm up a cane, it's going to start cracking, like all old, not old, polymer clay that stood for a while and it needs conditioned. And the way that you condition a cane is by reducing it. If it's already reduced, then it's not a lot that you can do with it. I mean, yeah, you can try and cut it without cracking it, and but the main thing that you should do is to just store. Let me see. I know that I had one, but I might have just made it into a cane. Is to use to store just the original triangle, the one from which usually when I make canes, I start with a triangle that would be about this. I mean, triangle, not rectangle, but triangle that would be about this big, and that would be about 2 inches. And I cut 1 inch and I reduce the triangle. I do whatever I want to do with it, and that original triangle, that's what I store, because the bigger they are, the better you'll be able to warm them up and condition them at a later date when you decide to use them for something. So they are great to use something like this. And actually, let me look for that one. Give me a second. Oops, not why. Another one is I showed how to do a fleur de lis, and if you do it in 1 centimeter, I mean, I showed in this tutorial, I showed exactly what the size of it has to be. You can, but it's going to be very hard to warm up such a tiny core, and it might not look very good. So your only other option, and I'll show it in one of them, is if you have a very small cane, something that you can do is to cut it, slice it, in such a way that it would not crack. You have to take a lot of pay a lot of attention with it and a lot of care, and then place raw clay on a more thinner setting, and then arrange the slices and press them down into the raw clay, and then cut your a 3D cutter will not work. You'll need a metal cutter. Cut whatever shape you want and then bake it like that. But in this one, did I post? Okay. So this is the link to, let me get on display. I showed how to cover a pin with a fleur-de-lis cane, and I showed that if you make the cane in a specific way and a certain size of the slice, I showed exactly how to cover the pin in such a way that but this will work only with rectangular canes. It will be in such a way that when you cover the pin, it's going to wrap perfectly around it. There will be absolutely no and I'm just playing this for you real quick. Let me see, I am on display, yeah. So of course put the bacon bond on the big pen, and then once you start wrapping it, you see how on one side you go over the base and on one side you don't. So when you start wrapping it, what's over the base on one side is going to go over the one that doesn't have it. So your sliced cane will go perfectly around the pen and it will look seamless. So you don't have to. And this was made during my time of cataract, so I wasn't always. So this is sanded and buffed and seamlessly covered. So you can use that kind of stuff as well. So no, it will not. If you, anything that would be smaller than this you can still reduce if you want something smaller, but anything smaller than this, it will be hard to reduce to thank you, Darla, to make them usable again. But yeah, I have some canes that are like, I don't know, 8 years old and I still use them. And then I had some canes that about 4 years ago this lady sent me, and she said that they were in her drawer for like over 6 years and I can still use them because they were not too tiny. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it and you're gonna go around and take care of whatever little bits and pieces of clay you have to make canes. And then Sunday, how to cover a cane, a sphere. That's going to be a good thing on showing you what to do with canes. But we'll see Sunday, and I'll show you first. The first part will be to show you how to make the sphere itself, and then we'll start covering it with cane slices. So I hope you have a great week. Here we are expecting again some bad weather on Friday. Hopefully it will not be too bad. And I'll be able to not have to catch up on sleep. Because I'm sorry, but when we have thunderstorms, tornadic thunderstorms in the evening and at night, I cannot sleep. Obviously, I cannot sleep. I don't want to wake up in the middle of a tornado. Thank you so much. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. And thank you for being here with me. And I will see you all on Sunday. Have a wonderful week.